The movie begins by introducing our protagonist, In-soo, a young college student with a unique ability to see ghosts. He wears a mysterious locket that spins whenever a spirit is nearby. Due to this supernatural ability, In-soo is often bullied by his classmates, earning him the nickname Ghost Seer. One day, while on the subway, In-soo's locket starts spinning uncontrollably, indicating the presence of a ghost nearby. He sees a young girl's ghost among the crowded subway passengers, which unsettles him. In-soo quickly exits the metro and rushes home. Back at home, In-soo scans the room with his locket, initially finding nothing. However, the locket suddenly starts spinning again, and he spots the ghost sitting on his shoulders. The ghost reveals that she has been murdered and seeks In-soo's help to find her corpse so that her parents can find solace. Initially hesitant, In-soo eventually contacts the police and helps solve the case of the murdered ghost, fulfilling her request. However, tired of his abilities and longing for a normal life with friends, In-soo decides to quit school and return to his hometown in search of answers. He contacts his uncle Hakaru to inform him of his decision, despite his uncle's warnings about the importance of education. Upon returning to his hometown, In-soo encounters a beautiful girl named Rose along the way. Later, he meets his uncle, who also possesses the ability to see ghosts and is an experienced exorcist. The next day, In-soo enrolls in his childhood school, hoping for a fresh start. Unfortunately, he becomes the target of bullies who torment him, with one of them named Hyunji even flirting with him despite having a boyfriend, Hae-chul. Amidst the bullying, In-soo spots a female ghost wearing a mask outside the classroom, which terrifies him. Later, as In-soo is returning home from school, Hae-chul suddenly attacks him from behind and beats him up, warning In-soo to stay away from his girlfriend despite her flirtatious behavior towards In-soo. Hae-chul then threatens In-soo by bringing up the case of Ah-young, a girl who died under mysterious circumstances years ago. In-soo was visited by her ghost numerous times, pleading for help, but he never had the courage to do so, which led him to transfer to the city. The scene then cuts to one of the female bullies returning home and discovering a plastic bag hanging on her front door. When she tries to open it, the bag breaks, spilling blood all over her face. Terrified, the bully desperately tries to phone her friends, but the call won't connect, and suddenly the masked ghost from earlier attacks her and finishes her off. Later, we see In-soo sitting with Rose, the same girl from earlier who is actually a ghost who died years ago. In-soo enjoys talking to her because she isn't scary like the other ghosts. Suddenly, the wind starts to blow, and Rose tells In-soo that the masked girl is near them, frightening him, causing him to run away from there. The next day at school, as Hyunji is harassing a boy in front of the entire class, In-soo gets fed up and intervenes, ordering her to stop the bullying once and for all. As expected, the other bullies try to attack In-soo, but Hyunji stops them. It appears that she has started to like him. In the evening, In-soo and his uncle are watching the news and see a solved murder case where the killer, who wore a mask, is finally apprehended after 10 years. This immediately catches In-soo's attention as he recalls the masked ghost he saw at school. He talks about her with his uncle, hoping to find any information. Just then, a female spirit who appears to be living in the same house reveals that the masked girl's name is Sae-hee. Meanwhile, a couple from the bully gang sneaks into the school at night to retrieve the girl's cell phone, which was confiscated by a teacher earlier. After getting the phone back, they enter a classroom and have some fun. Later, the girl rushes to the washroom, leaving the boy alone. Suddenly, the masked ghost Sae-hee appears and kills him. After this, she confronts the other bully in the bathroom stall and finishes her off as well. The following day, the entire school is shaken up by the murders, and Hyunji appears distressed as all her friends are being targeted one after another. Meanwhile, In-soo tries to gather information on the masked ghost Sae-hee. He inquires with everyone in the classroom, but no one dares to talk about Sai-hee, even though they are aware of her. It appears that her death had something to do with the bully group. Later, while In-soo and Rose are together, he receives a message from one of his classmates containing a photo of Sai-hee, along with a warning not to ask about her anymore. In-soo then asks Rose if she knows anything about Sai-hee. Rose reveals that the entire school knows how Sai-hee died. Hearing this, In-soo realizes that the bully group was responsible for Sai-hee's death. Filled with rage, In-soo attacks Haichul from behind, but the bully easily overpowers him and beats him up instead. Nonetheless, In-soo, with a wicked smile on his face, declares that Sai-hee is coming for them all. Later, when the bullies are returning home, Hyunji shows Haichul a picture of Sai-hee's father and links it with her friend's murders. She is certain that the old man is killing all the bullies one by one as an act of vengeance. Haichul agrees with her assumption, and together they decide to head towards Sai-hee's house to kill her father. Before heading there, though, Hyunji secretly messages about their plan. In the next scene, In-soo receives the message and informs his uncle about the situation. Despite his disdain for the bullies, he knows their lives are in danger, so he decides to stop them before it's too late. Hakaru gives him a magical dagger for protection. Meanwhile, Haichul and Hyunji enter the house and are startled by a continuous thumping sound coming from a box. They also notice flashy images of the dead girl, Sai-hee. It dawns on them that In-soo was telling the truth. Sai-hee has indeed come out for revenge. Terrified, the bullies try to run away, but Sai-hee's father mysteriously pops out of the box and brutally finishes off Haichul. Seeing her boyfriend die in such a brutal fashion, Hyunji begs for her life and apologizes for everything she did in the past. However, Sai-hee's father doesn't listen and kills her as well. In the aftermath, In-soo finally arrives at the scene and enters the house to find his classmates lying limp on the floor. He also notices Sai-hee's father, who appears to be possessed by his daughter's ghost. Just as In-soo is about to leave, he hears a sound coming from a nearby closet. Inside, he finds Sai-hee with her usual mask on. In-soo courageously unmasks her and discovers that she is none other than Rose. Following this, we are taken to the past to find out what really happened. Sai-hee was a fun-loving girl at the same school, but just like the others, she was tormented by the bully group. One day, after reaching her breaking point, she complained to the head teacher about Hyunji's bullying behavior. Taking the matter seriously, the teacher scolded Hyunji in front of everyone. This enraged the bully girl so much that she decided to make Sai-hee's life a living hell. From the next day onwards, Hyunji and her gang started treating Sai-hee like an animal. They beat her up, pulled her hair, set fire to her hair, and even forced her to wear a mask. All the students in the class witnessed this, but never spoke up due to fear of meeting the same fate. The constant torture took a toll on Sai-hee's life, and she cried all the time at home. Her concerned father advised her to contact the head teacher, but Sai-hee declined, fearing that it would only escalate things. Then, one day, fed up with the constant abuse, she committed the unthinkable act. In the afterlife, her spirit split into two personalities: Rose, who resembles the actual Sai-hee, sweet and always helpful to others, and the masked girl, who is on a quest to eliminate all her tormentors. In the present, In-soo discovers a diary in which all of the victims' names have been crossed out except for the head teacher. This means that the masked girl is not done with her killings yet. Scared, In-soo immediately calls his uncle and requests him to go to Sai-hee's house and perform the burial rites. He then proceeds to the school in order to save the head teacher. In the next scene, as the head teacher is working alone, she is confronted by Sai-hee's spirit. Shortly after, In-soo arrives at the school and immediately inquires about the teacher. However, no one seems to have seen her. Suddenly, the lights go out and Sai-hee appears in front of them, having possessed the head teacher's body. She then reveals her true masked self and declares that since they all turned a blind eye to her when she was being bullied, they all deserve to be punished. Insu attempts to stop her, but Sahi grabs a lighter and throws it on the ground where gasoline had been spilled earlier. At this moment, it appears that all the students are going to be burned to death, but surprisingly, Rose, the alter ego of Sae-hee, catches the lighter before it hits the ground. The two then have a ghastly conversation where Rose tries to stop her other self from harming the students. However, Sae-hee, who is much more powerful, easily swats away Rose, making her disappear. Meanwhile, Hakuro reaches Sae-hee's house and starts his supernatural procedure to deal with her spiritual strength. Back at the school, Sae-hee begins to shatter everything in her path. In the aftermath, Insu checks his magical locket to identify anyone who could be possessed by Rose. When he discovers the locket spinning around a girl, he intervenes and gives her a notebook that he found inside its container. The scene shifts to a flashback revealing that Insu and Sae-hee were childhood friends who appeared to be in love. In the present, Insu apologizes to Rose's spirit for failing to identify her. This distraction proves to be enough as Hakuro completes his task to liberate Sae-hee's spirit. The dagger in Insu's pocket starts to glow, and Rose pulls it out and stabs herself. In a final scene, all the students are shown mourning at Sae-hee's grave, with Insu also present holding a beautiful sketch of his beloved Rose. The end. Subscribe for more videos.